here at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion.
Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. I'm Gene, the KSVIP for the day today.
I know. Touch you. Boy.
Yeah.
You're
and
doing good.
I'm very appreciative of that. I didn't know that was coming. And I walked into the studio this morning, and the flower was here, and the note with the KSVIP was here, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, such a small gesture makes such a big impact.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was very pleased and
No, it really does.
thankful that I got that.
Because somebody appreciated you and took the time, and it makes a big impact. It really does. So if
Yeah.
you know somebody that's worthy, nominate them.
Yeah, nominate them
Yeah.
as a KSVIP. We'll recognize them on the radio, and they get a flower, and it's all good. Let's go back to that chemical castration issue. No,
Go for it.
no.
You want a joke first, or you want to get into...
Yeah, let's hear your
get
joke. Linda
serious.
has a joke for us here today.
No, this was, how you see these signs around. There's a restaurant that's notorious for it. I don't know where it's at. Somewhere down in Texas, I think. But anyhow, this one was posted on a fire department board out in front somewhere. I have no idea where. And it says, "Never do anything you wouldn't want to explain to the paramedics." Now, you can think about that all day long if you want, but I thought that was pretty good. Once in a
That's
while
funny.
you hear of some strange things that, or what sent you to the emergency. I think there was a show on television, something like that, what sent you to the emergency room or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't ever do anything you wouldn't want to explain to the paramedics.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cute.
That is a good one, because
Sometimes we just have to laugh about things.
the other way of saying that is when Mother always reminded you, do you have clean underwear?
Yes.
Because you wouldn't want to get into an accident and then have that be an issue.
And the rest of that is, if you're in an accident, the odds of your underwear staying clean are probably not real good. So you better have spares with you or something. I don't know.
That's true. No question about that. No, we were just kind of talking before the break, folks, about all the crime and what's kind of happening in our society. I remember back in the day, Rod Adair was the
Put out oil well fires.
No.
One?
You're thinking Red Adair.
Red Adair.
Rod
Okay,
Adair
sorry.
is a demographer who lives up in Chaves County, and at one time was a state legislator.
Okay.
And he attempted for years, kind of like, what's his name that's up there from Chaves County now that's always trying to get the time change thing? Pirtle is always trying to get the time change thing. Adair was always trying to get the chemical castration passed in the legislature. If you commit certain crimes, rape, child molestation, stuff like that, he wanted it in the law in New Mexico that if you were convicted and found guilty of these types of crimes, as you're serving your time, you will be chemically castrated so that you can't
I think it's a good idea.
continue on with that. Of course,
Or be a eunuch, whatever it
Yeah.
takes. I don't care, but this has got to stop.
he never got anywhere with that.
Of course not, because they probably said criminals have rights,
Correct.
and they don't. Not in my book.
But you see this tragic situation that happened over in Hobbs, and there's just so many aspects of the story that you just scratch your head and you go, how can that be? How in 2021, 2022, how can there be that thought process in a human being that would lead to the situation that we saw?
How many more of those happen that we don't ever know?
Oh, I'm
Because
sure it
they're
does.
never found.
Yeah, I'm sure
you
it
hear
does.
of that every once in a while. The recording that they played on television of the cops going into that gentleman's business that had the camera said, we want to see your videos from, we're trying to, and he said, don't tell me that was a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, and we see that all too often.
Yes.
But it's just part of an overall issue that we have in society right now, in which you're not responsible. Whatever it is, bad
Somebody
that happens
else's
to
fault.
you, you are not responsible for that. Any decisions that you made prior that put you in the situation that you're in is not your responsibility. It's somebody else's fault. And it's and I don't know why we're doing that to ourselves. It just seems that we should be aware that we're doing that, but we're not, and it's happening. And I don't know how long it's going to take if we have the opportunity to turn, right the ship, turn this thing around, and get this thing
how far does the
straightened out.
pendulum have to swing?
Yeah.
And who in their right mind allowed it to get in this situation?
Yeah.
The way it is.
Well,
where
it didn't
there's
happen
no
overnight.
consequences.
It
No,
didn't happen
did
overnight.
not.
I mean, this
It
has
did
been
not. It's been going and going. But are Republicans too complacent in a sense that we sit back and say, oh, well, they can't do that. It won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of speaking up and saying, hey, you need to rethink this. This is not logical. Or, look at what the consequences. Look a little farther down the line. What is going to happen if you allow these things? Somewhere along the line, there has to be intelligent Democrats that, I don't know if they drank Kool-Aid or what happened to them or they're making so much money with kickbacks somewhere that they can't even be logical anymore. There's got to be some reason that they're allowing this to happen, because you would think some of these people are normal, intelligent business persons that have common sense.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not.
Yeah. Well,
and we're going to have to do something about it.
There's clearly a part of it is a lust for power. I have to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to create a situation to where I will always be in control. So there's some of that's going on. And I don't know where that comes from. And then, look at how we've handled the pandemic. Our governor has decided that her job is to keep us all safe.
Yeah.
And she's been exercising for almost 2 years now these emergency authorizations to make these decisions about every aspect of people's lives, because that's what she believes is her job, is to take care of us, to protect us from everything. And there are a significant amount of people, her subjects in New Mexico, who think that is her role and appreciate her for doing what she's doing and are thankful that she's doing what she's doing.
Even though it bankrupts them or puts them out of business, or they can't pay their rent, or they have no money coming in.
You have the power and the authority to determine what businesses can be open and what businesses can be closed and under what conditions you can operate your business, and you have to mandate this and you have to force this and you have to do this. You can pick and choose which businesses you think are of value and can support, and you can pick and choose which businesses that you think are bad and evil and horrible. You could make the decision that the environment, the environment crisis is the worst crisis, since World War II, and so we're going to make these decisions to promote this type of business and be detrimental to this type of business. And we should never have allowed the government to get into that position of authority.
No.
Which is why people want to get into government and why people want to run for government, because now you are in charge over all of these things. And so it's...
and so we're all like a bunch of sheep and need somebody to tell us how to get through the gate.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You should be able to think for yourself. Wait, hold it. She's not going to tell me what to do with my business.
Yeah.
There's no...
Yeah, but Linda, you are not smart enough to know how to run your business properly, because you're going to, you're going to be too much of this or not enough of that, or you're not going to do this right, or you're not going to do that right. And so
anybody that thinks that has a serious problem.
Yeah. They're running our state right now. They're running our government right now. And it's
No,
not just in the last
any business that allows somebody to tell them that you're not smart enough to run your own business.
Okay, I need a license to do business in New Mexico. Here's the terms and conditions. Do I just say, fine, we're not going to open up a business in New Mexico? You know, some people don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, you want to open up a restaurant, you got to get a food permit. You got to get a food permit. Here's all the things that you have to agree to do in order to get the food permit and pass inspection so that you can open up and be a restaurant. And that was used to close restaurants and keep people, you know, because remember, the virus only spreads when you're walking to your table,
right,
and going back and forth to the buffet. But this is the mentality that's on one side, and then on the other side, you know, is less restrictive. But we've created this mentality and this mindset that we have enough people that look to people like governors and mayors and presidents and say, I don't know what to do, help me, you know, and you turn to the government for all of the help.
Well, sometime there's going to have to be some people that wake up and say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know.
No, our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves right now.
Oh, they probably are.
You know, if they saw to the extent that we've allowed the federal government to come in
if you go back
take over all these
and read
things.
A lot of the speeches that they made and the documents that they created, none of this was to be allowed.
Yeah.
None of it.
Well, not at the federal level.
No.
It was at the state level. So, but between the feds and the state, you know, we've got a pretty interesting situation.
So where would we go? Where could we move to?
Guam.
You know, the world is kind of screwed up in
Cuba
places right now.
Buy an island out in the middle of the ocean somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
You know, how's Malta doing right now?
But you got to be kind of stinky rich to do that. You know, first you have to have transportation to get there, and you know, a little bit of food would be good.
Yeah, I mean, and then what's happening in states like Texas is people in California are so upset with how things are going in California.
They should be.
That, you know, right now, here's a job opportunity for you folks. Call up U-Haul and say, I will drive trucks from Texas to California. And they're going to hire you on the spot.
Boom.
Because you can't get a moving truck in California because they're all in Texas. So these Californians move into Texas, and they move to Austin, and they move to all these other places around Texas. And then we've got the border opened up, you know, and people are just flooding in by the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and who thought that was a good idea?
So we're going to reach a point in a state like Texas where, you know, these who was it? Greg Gutfeld said, if you move from a blue state to a red state, you cannot vote for a state or local election in that state until you've lived there 2 years. So that you can at least be acclimated and learn
what's going on,
what the local way of doing things is, so that you don't bring your California liberal politics
well, if they're
to
so
your new
dying
state.
to get out of California, to get away from the over $5 a gallon gas, which is mostly taxes, and all the liberal ways and the money that they just give away to everybody that walks across the border or in the door, or you know, or is unemployed or is homeless or whatever. If they don't like it and they're trying to get out of there, then they dang sure shouldn't bring all those beliefs with them.
They do.
You know?
A lot of them do. I mean, not everybody does, but there's a lot of that goes on. What's the other thing I read? New York City. The new mayor didn't stop this. There are 800,000 people living in New York City who are in the United States illegally. They will now be able to vote
That is
in
wrong.
New York City elections.
Nope. You have to be a citizen of the United States.
But Linda, they're just undocumented.
I don't give a crap. If you're not a citizen, you don't vote. That should be the rules.
Well, I don't disagree with you at all, but there are 800,000 people
and they're going to vote
in New
Democrat.
York City who are now going to vote.
Yes, and they're going to vote Democrat because the Democrats hand them everything on a silver platter.
Yeah.
So you're not going to change that until you go back to the way it is. You have to be a citizen of this country. And that is one of our privileges.
I think so. I think so. My question is, if they know that they're here and they're here illegally.
Yeah. Where are they living and what are they doing? And, a few more questions here.
Well, and they're not going to have any voter ID.
Heavens no. And that's another thing you should have.
Yeah.
Why do they give us these wonderful little voter ID cards if they're never going to ask for them?
That's right. That's right.
Or even your driver's license.
Yeah, well, how Bull Connor of you. That's what the president said. How George Wallace of you.
Yeah. It's amazing.
See, you're
that
just
man,
like George Wallace for thinking that.
Yeah, it's amazing that Biden can even go to the bathroom by himself. He's so dumb.
And here's the thing I'm thinking. When I heard clips of the speech and he evoked the name of, Bull Connor and George Wallace and somebody else, and I thought, how many people today even know who those people are and why that's even relevant to the discussion that we're having today?
Exactly.
I know who they are, but I'm old.
I was going to say, that's because we're older than dirt. God forbid, we have common sense.
You go to an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old today and say, tell me who's George Wallace?
They'll say, what? Is he a rap star? He must have been in so-and-so's band. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go back under the rock that you live in.
I don't know. Maybe we're surprised that we do know who they are. But I would think for the most part they would probably have no clue who George Wallace or Bull Connor
Not
were,
even heard the names.
And all that. But so to me, when I heard the clips from the speech, it was a poorly done speech because it was evoking the names of people who most people have no idea who they are, and so they wouldn't understand the reference or the relevance of being accused of being like that. And the problem is you can't find a current day person who's in the same category as George Wallace or Bull Connor because they don't exist in the country anymore. That does not exist. And so you can't name, you can't say, McConnell or Mitch McConnell, you can't say any names that are current that would be known currently because that doesn't go. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't individual cases of things that happen. I'm not saying it never happens anywhere.
Right.
But as far as mainline top state politicians, it's against the law. You can't do that in the country. And I think the places that have passed these laws, these election laws, have said we're going to get rid of the ballot harvesting. We're going to tighten up the registration requirements, and many of these states are saying you got to have some kind of an ID to show that you are who you are when you come in to vote. And most people agree with that and don't have a problem with that. But it's
I don't want a bunch of dead people voting.
That was the old the old joke, but nowadays it's
or the illegals or the undocumented or
the 400 ballots that all have the same address. They get dropped in a box.
If you want an absentee ballot, if you're not going to be there and you want to vote absentee, you should be able to request it and get it. That's it. One.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get up off the couch and you go down between 7 and 7 and you vote in person.
Yeah.
It won't hurt you. I promise. It won't hurt you.
Yeah. So that's how it should be. Hey, before we completely run out of time, is there anything with the Artesia Clean and Wonderful you'd like to mention today?
If you want to get a Christmas tree tossed out, you have a few more days.
Okay.
Hopefully I can get them hauled off Monday. I'm tired of chasing barrels in the wind. Let me tell you, this year's been an event.
Yeah.
But there's a halfway decent stack of Christmas trees down there. But
well, good.
If you will pull in off of 13th, just north of CVE, there's a cute little sign by the road that's got a Christmas tree and the recycle sign on it. Just turn on that paved road to the left, you'll see the barrels and the trees, and just dump it off there. Please, no light stands or ornaments,
I was looking at your sign, and I was thinking, you speak emoji. Because you have the recycle emoji.
Yeah.
And then you have the tree emoji.
Okay.
And then you have the arrow emoji. So you have a sign in emoji language.
Well, who knew? When I was drawing that on there and painting it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Here's the deal. Have you ever tried to draw a Christmas tree? One side always looks really good and the other side not so much. So I drew half of a Christmas tree.
Okay.
And one of the guys upstairs comes down. He says, "What are you going to do with that? You only got half of it." I said, "Well, you draw half of it and then you flip it over and you have the other half of the tree."
Okay.
It looks wonderful then. And it turned out really good.
That's interesting. But yeah, I thought about that the other day.
So if you want to recycle, now's your chance, because don't pile it in the alley. If you can load it and get it out of there in the back of your truck, go ahead and take it to the transfer station.
I was supposed to put a picture up on the internet today, and I forgot to do that.
Oh, for shame.
We had somebody back here in the alley behind the radio station had crammed a box. There's a picture of the dumpster there.
Oh, yeah.
They had crammed that box into the dumpster, and it was crammed in such a fashion that when the dumpster came up,
the box didn't come out.
The box didn't come out.
Flatten your boxes. It doesn't take but moments to flatten them. You can get so many more in there. Mm-hmm. Put your garbage to the back of the dumpster, and then everybody else can have room too, including you. And you are supposed to be able to shut the lid.
Yeah.
For something like that, when you see, and every once in a while I'll see it, some dummy will put 2x4s in there sticking out. Or mattresses or whatever else they can find to stick out.
Right.
The city does not have to pick that up. Keep that in mind.
That's right.
Then it's going to sit there until somebody does something about it. In the meantime, all your neighbors are really ticked off at you because it's not getting picked up and they can't dump their trash. And it's just common sense out the window.
Well, we finally went out there.
Dumpster etiquette 101.
We finally went out there yesterday, Lon and I did, and we pulled the box away and broke it down and got it to where. So I'm sure when they went through today, I'm sure it finally.
They got picked up, tried it again.
Yeah, it left.
Yeah, you can only shake that sucker so many times when it's upside down trying to dump into your truck.
Yeah.
But really, you get stuff wedged in there.
Yeah.
And it's okay to put boxes in there. Mm-hmm. Just flatten them.
Yeah.
And, make them to fit properly.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, there's no place to recycle tons of cardboard around here, which...
No, there used to be, but that has kind of gone away.
Yeah,
so.
And it's sad because there are tons of it that end up in the transfer station.
So the tree lot will be there a few more days?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, hopefully I can get it hauled off Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
But it's time. If you don't have your tree down now, it's crunchy, folks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a fire
or
hazard.
Or it needs to be planted if it was one of those that you bought that was in a pot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Get it out.
Get it out of the heat and get it planted.
There you go.
So,
all right,
and then we'll talk about later all the things that will be coming up this spring, like recycled art, golf scramble.
Oh yeah.
Adopt a tree. All of a sudden it starts getting busy in springtime. So
Good deal. Well, Linda, thank you.
Well, we may not have solved the problems.
Just listen to us, folks. Just listen to us. Governor, just call us. We'll help you out.
We'll fix it for you.
We'll help you out.
Yes.
That's right. All right.